You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. And then, Bobby, if you want to watch, if you have a spare phone or something there, you can watch the live and see if anybody has any questions.
Yep, exactly what I'm doing, baby. I got you.
I know you do. Okay, let me get on here, but turn down the volume on it. This is episode number 18, right? Yep. 18. Hard, not easy work. I did a short episode on hard work one time that was really good. Okay, I am kicking it off right now. Welcome to our Facebook audience. We'll be with you guys in just a second.
Inspired, of extraordinary quality, as if arising from some external creative impulse. Greatness, the state, condition, or quality of being great. This is Inspired to Greatness.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome to Inspired to Greatness, the show all about spreading inspiration, motivation, and being great. I am your host, DJ Matt Blake. Along with me, as always this week, is the awesome Bobby Malaccio. Bobby, how are you, sir?
Fantastic, bro. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. It's been a nice couple days. The weather has been spectacular, and so we've been trying to get out and enjoy it. We did a lunch on a patio yesterday, and we're gonna do. We went and picked up some food today. So we're just trying to get out where you can get out. It's frustrating.
That's great, man.
Frustrating.
We spent a day out lounging in the front yard. It was the wife's birthday. Our amazing neighbors sang from across the street, sang from next door. One came up with a karaoke machine, started doing the salsa, merengue.
Nice.
Happy birthday. That was good, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's super cool. We have Darian's birthday tomorrow. Or no, today. So he's my oldest son, because I'm ancient, so I have a 19-year-old son. I also have a 20-year-old daughter. She's going to be 21 in October. That one will mess with you. When you get to that age. So
get out of here, man.
Anywho, So we're talking about hard work today, man. What do you think about that? Do you think it's a good topic?
I love it.
Awesome.
Love it.
Awesome.
Probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, I dig it because hard work is the key factor that'll give you the difference between winners and not so winners, right?
Not luck. Not luck.
Not luck. We'll talk about that in just a second.
Okay.
I want to introduce our guests today. We have Chad and Josh from Deluxe Roofing. How you guys doing today?
Good. How are y'all?
We're great. We're ready to kick off. I'm glad we got you guys on here because we had kind of had a sort of scheduling snafu in the beginning with you guys, but then we got it all fixed and got y'all back on. So, and you know what's great? I hear about you guys. I don't see you guys in person very much networking. Well, nobody in the last month, but before, I'd run into you guys occasionally networking. But what's great is you always hear about you guys networking. Like everybody is always talking about you guys, and there's always events going on at your office and all that stuff. So, whether you guys are actually around, you guys are being talked about, which is awesome. So
any publicity is good publicity, right?
That is true. That is true. That is very true. So let's go over a few quotes about hard work, and then we'll get into this stuff. And everybody feel free to chime in if you have any thoughts on these things real quick. So first, Colin Powell, former U.S. Defense Secretary, said, "A dream does not become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work." And I think that guy would know about hard work. He's most military people do. And that guy, I saw him speak one time in Fort Worth, and it was exceptional. It was amazing. The guy will get you fired up. Elon Musk, who love him or hate him, he's successful. So he said, no matter how hard you work, someone else is working harder. I use this mindset a lot because people will say, you busted it all day long. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Why are you still online scrolling through Instagram, liking, commenting, interacting with people? And I said, because if I'm not going to do it, there's another DJ out there that is going to do it, and then he's going to get that relationship and he's going to get that gig and not me. And so I'm all about it. I'm an about it kind of guy. So
I like that, man. That was a big driving factor when I was in high school, man. I always would envision some other little high school dude out there. If I wasn't out there at 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night playing basketball, practicing my free throw, I'm like, someone else is doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
yeah,
true. Man.
I think that's important.
That's true. You gotta be the one working harder. You gotta outwork your competitors. So this guy, David I always mispronounce his name, Ogilvy. He was an advertising guy. He said, men die of boredom, physical conflict, and disease. They do not die of hard work. Whew. That one, I don't know if you know people that are scared of working hard. They're like, man, I don't know if I can go out there and do that. That's a lot of work, or that's tough work, or that's going to take a long time, or that's going to hurt. Man, the people that always have an excuse of why it's not going to kill you. It's going to make you better. It's going to be an improvement. Like going to the gym or going on a run or working out, man. People are so scared to do that because, it's not easy to go work out if you're doing it right.
That's right, man.
But
that's right. And if you're telling the tale,
yeah, you're
definitely strong enough to survive it, right? So you're here telling the story, telling the tale behind it.
Yes, absolutely. So, okay, and this is our main topic quote for the day. Thomas Jefferson, for you young kids out there who don't know, he was a former president of the United States. It's sad, but there's going to be people who don't know who Thomas Jefferson was. I'm a great believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more of it I have. And that's one of those things. He's kind of poking fun at luck. I don't believe in luck. I believe in hard work and preparation is going to create an opportunity, right? So
Facts.
All right, I'm going to tell a little story, and then we're going to let Chad and Josh take it away. So a group of explorers was walking through the jungle. As they're walking, they came upon a bottomless pit, and two of the explorers fell in. They were hanging on for dear life. They're a few feet down there. They're scratching and clawing, trying to get back to the top and make it out of this pit. Their fingers were getting cut. Their arms ached. They're hurting. And the other explorers saw how hopeless their position was, and they started shouting at them to just give up. Give up the pain. It's not worth it. Just fall. Eventually, one of the explorers in the pit listened to them and just gave up. It hurt too much. He fell to his death. The other explorer kept trying. He clawed and fought his way to the top, finally pulling himself out. The other explorers on the top side said, "Did you not hear us?" And then he explained that he's deaf, and he thought they were encouraging him to get out. So that's a mindset thing right there. Just because something's hard doesn't mean it's not going to be worth it. And you can't listen to the other people, because when you're out there busting it and killing it and working hard, there's going to be people saying all the time, "Man, that's not worth it. Go watch Tiger King on Netflix. Go to the bar. Go, play Xbox." Whatever it is, there's going to be people encouraging you to not work so hard, right? And we talked about last week kind of why people might be doing that, because they're scared of failure, or they're never going to really succeed, so they don't want you to, stuff like that. So some people,
I love the word hard, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people say it's hard, but when you really dial what hard is, it's a matter of our own perception and our own reality.
It is.
And that's all hard is.
Truth.
Yeah.
Some people will want you to avoid pain and hard work, and that in that way you're going to miss a victory, because victory doesn't really come without those things. And we would all be seeing that on TV right now if the Olympics were going on, but they're not. So the Olympics are a great example of hard work and mindset and becoming the pinnacle of who you can be through hard work, because no Olympian lucked into it. They're not like, "Oh, I was just born and I could run faster than everybody else." That doesn't happen. So let's chat with our guests here, Josh and Chad from Deluxe Roofing. Tell us a little bit about Deluxe Roofing. Maybe each of you can take a turn to tell us, how you got started, where you came from, and just take it away, guys.
I'm Chad Hughes. I'm the owner of Deluxe Roofing and Construction. I've been in the construction industry for I've been getting paid for it for 30 years. But I've been in it pretty much my entire life. As far as the roofing industry goes, I kind of tripped and fell into it about 16 years ago. I owned a real estate inspection company for 15 years. So I was the guy that you hired to come in and go through everything in the, typically I worked with buyers mostly. So they would hire me to come in and go through everything, whether it be residential or commercial property, go through everything from top to bottom, roof, foundation, plumbing, electrical, everything in there, tell them what kind of condition the property was in so they can then negotiate for repairs to be made or, back out of the deal if so be it. Did that for many, many years, like I said, 15 years. And one of my good friends ran a large roofing company here in DFW and decided to go out on his own. Asked me to, help him get it up and going. So that's how I got involved in the roofing industry. And I've been out on my own for, 13 years now, I believe. 12 years. For many years, I just ran the company just myself. And about 3 years ago, one of my good friends, who was also in the roofing industry, had some pretty bad experiences with some other companies. And at that point, I said, you know what, I'll change my business model, come to work with me. And that's when the actual Deluxe name was born. And now we run our company a little bit differently than a lot of the other roofing companies out there. We're very based around our people. We have the philosophy that if our customers are well taken care of and our people are well taken care of, then the company's well taken care of. We put ourselves last. Our customers are first. Our employees are second. The company comes third. But if the first two are well taken care of, then the company's doing just great. One of the things that also is a little bit different for us, we're not a big door knocking company. You see after storms, there's companies out there just knocking doors, and that's how they generate all their business. The vast majority of our business comes from referrals, from real estate agents, insurance agents, general contractors that we work with, as far as a lot of the new construction and commercial projects that we do, and just referrals from past customers. You got a lot with this whole pandemic going on right now. I've been a little unnerved to see some other roofing companies out there knocking doors. I don't think it's very responsible of them to be doing that and putting people in jeopardy right now. But they're out there doing it. I'll let them ruin their reputation. I'll worry about mine.
Yeah.
But Josh is one of our project managers. That's been with us for a while. We have 17 project managers that sell and manage the projects that they sell. We're scattered all throughout the Metroplex. We, like I said, we work with a lot of real estate agents, so they're always pressed for time. They need things done yesterday. So we, with our guys spread out strategically throughout the Metroplex, we can always have somebody out there. Usually if we get a call, we've got somebody out there to inspect the roof within, 2 to 3 hours.
Nice. How many guys do you have with you now? You said?
We've got 16 guys and one girl.
That's awesome.
That both sell roofs and manage projects.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
And then we've got the boss in the office that doubles as my wife. but she's Josh knows she runs the show. I own the company. She's the boss.
Yeah. That's good. So Josh, how did you get into the roofing game yourself?
So like Chad mentioned, I've been with Deluxe Roofing for about a year now. And honestly, I never thought that I'd be doing something like this. The person that got the idea in my mind was my best friend, Miguel. Every time we'd go out somewhere, he's like, dude, you build relationship with people anywhere we go, or someone always knows you there. And, that's how I found this opportunity from one of the guys that works at Deluxe. His name's Adam. Met him. He handed me a business card, and I took my best friend's advice, to get into, roofing. It's to build a business is building relationships with people. And that's something that he told me that I was really good at. And he's like, that's pretty much what sales is just building relationships with whoever it is. And, I spoke to Chad, and, Chad gave me the opportunity to get on with Deluxe, and, it's been a good year so far. And, I'm very excited.
That's awesome.
We got a lot of great things coming up. So
yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. That I know the kind of end of spring, beginning of summer is like the Wild West for roofers, because here in Texas, North Texas, we get all the hailstorms and tornadoes and that stuff. And then I see all you guys scrambling around like fire ants everywhere, trying to get this problem covered, that problem covered, out in the middle of the night, helping people get plastic on a roof and all that kind of stuff. And people, I think, I'm sure you guys are well aware, roofers have gotten a bad bit for a long time. I mean, they've been looked at kind of like the used car salesman gets looked at, sleazy, con men. They're going to show up off Craigslist with a magnet on the side of their door that says, roofing, and then a area code that's in Oklahoma or somewhere, but they're really here operating in Texas. And I think the cool thing about local guys like you guys, and everybody I know from Deluxe, being you're a local company, and you are, you support local businesses. You're involved with local charities and local chambers of commerce and local networking groups, and you really care about the area and the customers and that kind of stuff. You're not the sleazy, Craigslist roofers of yesteryear. And I think if people would pay more attention and get their preconceived notions out of their mind, they would see the really cool people involved in the roofing industry and how y'all are such a vital part of the community. And it just goes back to those things, like all the guys that are like, hey, we'll make sure you don't have to pay your deductible and all that kind of sleazy stuff, or the guys that show up with just a pickup truck and a ladder, and you don't know who they're selling roofs for. They're just some random guy who knows enough to get some money out of you. And I want to give you guys.
We have a term. We have a term for that called "chuck in a truck."
Chuck in a truck, nice. Well, I definitely want to give you guys kudos for elevating that image. It's a good image you guys are putting out there, because everybody I've met talks real good about you guys. And
this is the number one roofing market in the world. We have more hailstorms here in DFW than anywhere else. So in turn, we have more roofing competition than any other market. Here in DFW, it's said that there's 7,000 roofing companies here in DFW alone.
Whoa.
You get a good storm through here, that becomes 10,000 roofing companies overnight. Over deductibles, as of September 1st, a new law went into effect that makes it, illegal. It was illegal, but there were loopholes. Those loopholes have now been taken away. There's still guys out there doing it, even knowing that they're facing prison time for doing it and thousands of dollars in fines. If I'm a homeowner, I'm not wanting to work with somebody, even though it may save me a little money. I'm not wanting to work with somebody that doesn't have enough integrity to care whether or not they face, prison time for covering a deductible.
Yeah. Not to mention, I mean, who do you want to work with? Somebody who might, do a little kind of deal to save you some money and cut some corners. Save your money on your lunch. Don't try to save money on getting a freaking roof put on your largest investment you've made in your life. That's insane to me. Like, save money on the Big Mac. Don't save money on the building you're tied to for 30 years and where your family sleeps. So.
You would be surprised, and I'm well aware of the reputation that the roofing industry has, and it's something that we fight every day to change, one customer at a time. But I'll tell you, some of the homeowners that I've dealt with over the years they are the reason some of the roofing industry has such a horrible name. I'm dealing with one right now that just up and spent our money.
Wow.
Got the money from the insurance company and spent it after all the work is complete. And, we deal with a lot of shady homeowners as well. Not a lot. We get burned about 2 to 3 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
And considering we do 400 to 600 projects a year, I guess that's not too bad of a percentage. But
Sure.
I guess that's just, it's part of the industry. But something we have to deal with. And you deal with all types, but for the most part, all of our customers are great, and appreciate the work that we do for them, and the fact that we don't cut corners. We upgrade every single roof that we install. We don't install 3-tab roofing systems, 3-tab shingles. If you have those on your house, we automatically give you an upgrade, because I've got to warranty that roof for 7 years.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to put something on there that I wouldn't put on my own home. And I would not put 3-tab shingles on my own home.
Yeah.
We also, upgrade your felt, your valley liners, your ventilation, everything. So,
yeah.
And we can work with homeowners, a lot of, especially now, homeowners have been, so used to not paying their deductible. So now it's kind of a learning curve for the homeowner to, hey, I've got to pay it now. If you've been a homeowner here in Texas for, over 10 years, more than likely you've had a roof replaced, and a lot of them aren't used to paying those deductibles. Now with the new law, like I said, it's a little bit of a learning curve and an education process for us to educate them on the new law. But, we're willing to work with them and add value to their property to kind of help offset that a little bit, replacing, adding some gutters, or, upgrading them to an impact resistant roofing system. It'll save them hundreds of dollars a year on their insurance premiums.
And, a great thing that we also offer is also, financing with Green Sky. So, if the homeowner's having some trouble, paying a deductible, or, whatever it may be, this is something that we offer as well. So, it's not really hurting their pocket. We have a 12 month, no interest. Those are a couple benefits, for using Deluxe Roofing as well.
Well, and right now with the whole, COVID-19 thing going on, a lot of people are worried about where their next paycheck is going to come from. They're not too concerned about their roof right now, unless it's actually leaking. On the flip side of that, though, is you only have 1 year from the storm date with most insurance companies. From the date of the storm that damaged your roof, you only have 1 year to file a claim. If your roof if that hail damage causes your roof to leak 3 months after that 1 year is up, then your insurance company says, sorry, we're not responsible for it. Yes, you need a new roof, but you've got to pay for it out of your own pocket. So, I understand that people are, last thing they're worried about is a roof right now, but they really need to get that taken care of during that time frame. But with our financing, another thing that we're able to do, and we've had customers since all this has begun that have taken advantage of this, homeowners can actually keep the insurance proceeds. So they can keep the money from the insurance company and then finance the project with us. And they get 0 interest, 0 payments for the first 12 months, that then converts over to 5.99% for up to 10 years. So if somebody's got storm damage on their house, on their roof, and they need a new roof, we can come in, put thousands of dollars in their pocket right now to help them get through this. So they're not loading up credit cards that charge 20 to 30% interest just to get by, that they'll never pay off. They can take advantage of our financing, put all that money in their pocket, finance it out over, it's technically 11 years. And once the payments kick in after a year, on $10,000, it's basically $111 a month for 10 years. That's a lot easier to pay off than a credit card that you'll never get paid down. So that's something that we came up with to kind of help people out through this, because the last thing I want to see is a lot of people, racking up credit card debt that they'll never be able to get out from under.
Yeah, for sure. It's bad there's a lot of people living on, even before COVID, there was a lot of people living on credit cards.
Yeah.
People live beyond their means, and that's a self-restraint, self-control kind of thing. In today's day and age, just nobody was taught restraint. I mean, a lot of us that are the adults and the business owners of today grew up in a time when the economy was very forgiving and very rich and prosperous. You know, the 80s and the 90s were very, very good to people. And so a lot of us grew up, you know, with that kind of mindset. Like, you know, there's plenty of money for everybody. Everybody can buy a house. Everybody can have 2 cars. Everybody can have a boat. Because that's what the 80s and 90s were all about, man.
Everybody wins.
It was like Oprah, man. It was like, and you get a car, and you get a boat, and you got a jet ski. You know? That's just the way it was back then. And then
that was in 2007 too, bro.
yeah. Oh yeah. You know, I was part of the oil field in 2007, 2008, and then the whole world came crashing down, and it is a new reality. It's a new reality. Say what you want about the millennials because they're crazy, but they're growing up through a time.
Josh, aren't you a millennial?
I am, but you know what? I don't consider myself one, so you can stay quiet.
But
Oh,
I mean,
man, I know some smart millennials, bro.
a lot of these guys, well, a lot of them are innovators and business builders and amazing, but they're also growing up in a time when it was tighten the purse strings and let's figure out how to do this with little to no cash flow. And that is something spectacular. You know, that's the same thing that happened after the Great Depression and after World War II, after World War I and all that stuff, when the economy was in the toilet and people were building businesses. Those are innovators, and those are guys who are making it happen when other people can't, and those are the businesses that are going to be around. I'm not saying there was businesses built in the 80s and 90s that are going to survive, but those smart people would probably survive their business anytime it was built. But I think really times like today and times like 10 years ago, the people who built businesses in those times are definitely people you should look at and follow and say, how did you do this? You know, nobody had a job. The oil field was on it. And because the oil field's not the end-all be-all, but the oil field, the status kind of is a good barometer for what's going to happen elsewhere, particularly in North Texas, because we're in Texas in general, we're an oil state. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to watch millennials these days and the things they're able to do. I mean, they all have the phones, right? The phone is where the future of the world is. And the people who I see who like don't let their kids use a lot of technology and keep on, oh, well, I don't want my kids on social media. I don't want her to do that. I don't want them part of the world, and I want to be. You're crippling them. It would be like if our parents told us, you know, when computers started coming out, oh, I don't want you to learn how to use a computer. You'd be crippled if you didn't know how to use these tools of the future. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I ended up on that soapbox. That's a soapbox I could talk all day on.
That's so true. Hey, Chad, I got and Josh, you know, moving here from Florida, I wasn't really used to all these steep houses. So I was very in awe. I'd be outside walking around and people are with harnesses, right? They're harnessing themselves to these houses and doing a roofing. And and back home, we would go 30 years, man, without replacing a roof. Having this conversation, I didn't know if that was just because no one had the money to replace a roof, or if there were guidelines and specifications that Texas has mandated that you have to replace your roof in X amount of years, and Florida didn't.
No. Here in Texas, like I said, we're the #1 hail market in the world. So you can pretty much count on replacing your roof I would say the average is every 8 to 12 years. Just due to hail damage.
Now, what does the hail do to the roof?
It depends what kind of roofing system you have, but the majority of the roofs here are asphalt composition shingles. So you have a fiberglass mat that then on top of the fiberglass mat is dipped into asphalt, and then and then granules are put. Or that is it'll knock the granules off, exposing the asphalt, and it can, you know, depending on the size of the hill, it can also break the matting, the mat backing. But what happens when that asphalt becomes exposed, when hail knocks those granules off, is over time the sun will actually eat through that asphalt, and it will, and then you end up with roof leaks. You know, it's kind of funny when, we're hitting an area after a storm and we talk to a homeowner that says, no, my roof's fine. It's not leaking. It's fine. The stubborn old guy. We just roofed one in my neighborhood last year that his house was damaged in 2007. And he was that guy that, I'm sure people were coming by and knocking his door and, no, my roof's fine. It's not leaking. It's fine. Well, about 2 years later, it started leaking. And then he tried to file a claim. His insurance company came out and said, nope, sorry, you didn't file in the deadline. So, yeah, you need to replace your roof, but we're not going to pay for it because you didn't file within that 1 year deadline that we have. And so he had been up there since 2009. Every time a new hole wore through his shingles, he'd be up there with tar, tarring up his roof. Well, he did that from 2009 until last year when he finally called us and said, hey, I need you to replace my roof. And he ended up having to pay all that money out of pocket. When if he would have just done it in the time frame that he had to file the claim, his insurance company would have covered it. And so that's what I'm saying. I don't want people to overlook the roof damage that they have right now and not get it done because they're just, because they're worried about money or or a job or any of that, because it could compound and end up, putting them in worse financial shape later.
And if there's been a storm, you would suggest people just call you and have you come out, regardless. Come and check you guys aren't going to charge to come out and look at somebody's roof, right?
No, we do free inspections all day long, every day. Yeah. Every single day we're out there doing free inspections. It doesn't cost you anything for us to get on your roof and give you an honest assessment. And we're not one of these companies. There's a lot of companies out there that will, no matter what kind of damage, if there's, no damage at all, it'll tell you, oh yeah, file a claim. And we're not one of those companies. We shoot straight with people because, number one, I'm not trying to waste my time. I'm not trying to waste your time, the insurance company's time. These roofing companies that do that, they're well aware that there's some adjusters out there that'll buy every single roof they get on, whether there's damage or not. And so they just roll the dice that they're going to get one of those guys out there. I'm not trying to waste anybody's time because chances are you're not going to get one of those guys out there. So we give an honest assessment. If it's a 50-50 chance whether or not your insurance company is going to buy it, we're going to tell you that.
Yeah.
And leave that decision up to you whether or not to file the claim.
And that's part of the integrity that you guys have that paints a proper image of you guys in the industry, and it's something that people are going to respect and respond to. So I have a couple questions if you guys want to answer related to our topic in your business. So roofing is hard work. I mean, pulling shingles up on a roof, putting a roof together, going out in the middle of summer and inspecting a roof. I've worked on roofs before. That's not the most pleasant place to be when it's 110 outside because it's much hotter up there on the shingles. So besides the physical stuff, which is hard work, how have you guys, Chad, how have you used hard work to grow Deluxe? And Josh, how have you used hard work to get where you're at?
Just doing right by people. It's not always easy to do, but it's what you have to do to grow your reputation and maintain the reputation that we have. I mean, we have nothing but 5-star reviews anywhere online, and that's because of the hard work that we put in, our guys put in, the integrity that we all have. It's a lot of people, and I've seen this way too much over the years in this industry, and it's what gives this industry a bad name. You have a lot of companies out there that you get people that'll go out and they'll be successful in selling roofs, working for another company. And, a year and a half into it, they decide to go out and start their own roofing company. Well, they don't have the background and the experience to do it. I mean, I've been in construction for 30 years. So, these guys, just because they can sell a roof, they may not have the construction background. We train all of our guys to know the roofing systems inside and out. even guys that are new to the industry, we don't just turn them loose out there. They're being trained, and they're constantly learning, and there's somebody there helping them out along the way that does have experience. I mean, we've got over 100 years of combined experience between myself and our project managers in Deluxe. Hell, just me and one other guy, we've got over 60 years experience in construction. And then, with everybody else, we're well over 100. But a lot of too many companies out there. One of the things that gives companies bad names is guys see the money that comes in, the amount of the claims that we deal with and everything. And they get greedy and they say, well, I want to start my own company. So they rush out and they start their own company, but they don't balance their money right. They start paying themselves. And you just can't do that in this industry. And that's one of the hard things, is to leave all of your money in the business rather than paying yourself. And reputable companies will not take money from customers up front. We don't collect any money from customers until the roof is complete. And you'll know companies that are not running their business right when they're asking for a check before they ever start work. And the reason they're doing that is they're using your money to pay for the last customer's job, and so that's one of the things in this business that I'd say it's hard, but it's really not hard. But it's hard for some people in this business, and they just don't do it. And I'm hoping that with this whole COVID-19 thing, that it puts a lot of those guys out of business because they don't deserve to be here.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that that's one of the silver linings of this. I try to look at everything optimistically, and I'm hoping it'll put some of those guys out of business, but that remains to be seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as far as the hard work, it's our guys, our crews have been with me for many, many years. We're out there roofing, and when it's, July, August, September, when it's 105 degrees, and our project managers like Josh and they're not up there on the roof, but they're still out there sweating and putting in the hard work and making sure that everything is being done correctly, making sure that our customers are happy, everything's cleaned up and done right. So they put in hard work, and we appreciate every.
Hey, Chad, I'm sure that you've seen me up there replacing some decking, man. I'm not I don't know. I can't sit back for too long, man. I'm gonna have to get up there and start doing something.
That's awesome.
Chad rolls up on me and he's like, man, what are you doing up there? I'm up there replacing some decking, dude.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Hey, are there because it is hot, Matt, you made a great point. And I can only imagine how hot that roof is. If it's 104, 108 degrees on the ground level, 120 up above there, are there mandatory guidelines in place for their health and their safety to make sure they're not having like heat exhaustion and things of that nature?
We send out, so when it gets hot, we send out our supplier, our material supplier actually has powdered Gatorade packets, large powdered Gatorade packets. So we send those out in the hot months with all of our orders, so that our guys are constantly staying hydrated all day. When it gets really hot, our guys also, you'll see, and if you drive around during, an area that's been hit with storms, you drive around during August, you'll see crews laying in the yard for about 2.5 hours in the middle of the day. And, some homeowners may not necessarily like the way that looks, but I'm sorry, that's done for safety purposes. They have to lay in the shade and rehydrate and get their, to keep their bearings about it. We don't want anybody falling off a roof and getting hurt.
Yeah. Right.
So whatever those guys got to do to be safe. We'll also sometimes bring in, when it's really hot, bring in a canopy with a mister system on it. to help the guys out. Anything we can do to keep our crews safe and
That's
we're
good.
gonna
That's
do
great.
that.
Yeah,
That's
that's
important.
and I
But
think
as far as OSHA guidelines or anything, there's not when it comes to the heat. But like I said, there's precautions that we take to make sure everybody stays safe.
yeah, I think that's a good point Josh made about I can't sit in the truck. When I was working, I feel like I've said this a lot when I worked in the oil field, but it was a lot of really bad years, so that's why I bring. You learn a lot of things when you work a hard job, and I worked for a few different companies in those years, and that you would work for one company where you'd be up on top of your stand and working on equipment, and it's hot and you're disgusting, and it's getting hotter, and you'd have the one service tech who would drive up and they would call you from the truck and they'd say, "Hey, come down here. I got to go over this, or I need you to fill this out." And then you'd have the other service techs who would pull up before you even realized they were there. They had put on their hard hat and boots and they were up on the stand with you, helping you finish the equipment. And that kind of mindset where you're willing to get in there and do the work and do whatever it takes to not only get the job done but help your guys who are doing the job says a lot. And that you can make a big distinction, because the companies I worked for, where the service techs would show up and help us before they got what they needed from us, those companies are still around. And the two companies I worked for, where those guys would call you from their truck or just wait on you, those companies aren't even around anymore. So they got bought out, and then they just absorbed their materials and let everybody go because it wasn't good.
Like I was telling you earlier, is that if I'm in the office, I'm having a bad day. It drives me nuts. I do not want to be sitting in the office. A lot of roofing company owners, they sit in their, nice big office chair, and collect checks and get fat. I'm out getting fat, driving around in my truck from job to job, eating hamburgers in the truck, checking on jobs. I don't want to be in the office. I'm very big on quality control. Being an inspector for so long, that was my job, is making sure is inspecting the quality of construction. And so I'm very big on quality control, and Josh has seen me show up on jobs, and if I don't like something, I will get on that roof. Yeah, I just a few weeks ago, I showed up at a job and I didn't like something that they had done on the roof, and I got up there and started ripping shingles off the roof, and the crew's looking at me like, what the hell's he doing? But I'm going to make sure that it gets done right. So
sure.
I'm in the field making, these guys, we have a project manager that's on site all day long, but I also go around and check on all the job sites and make sure that things are going, the way that I expect them to. And, I don't know too many owners that run a company our size that are out there doing that. Most of them are just sitting in the office collecting those checks. But
yeah,
in a lot
of industries, there's a lot of industries like that, and it's tough when a company grows. I think when a company grows, you really see the character of ownership, because the people are either going to keep at it or they're going to be like, cool, now it's my time to sit back. Well, there's one thing to be said about building something and enjoying the fruits of it, but there's another thing to be said, and probably going to yield more success to that person who says, okay, we're here now, we've bumped up a level, but that just means we're going to go even further. We're not gonna chill. So
yeah, this whole thing's about hard work. I worked for 15 years as an inspector. I was working 100 to 120 hours a week. After 15 years, I had inspected over 10,000 residential and commercial properties over those 15 years, and I was just burnt out. And I'd also been in the roofing industry for a while, so I just fell back on roofing, and but I still put in 100 plus hours every week in this, and I always tell people, I work 100 hours a week so I don't have to work 40.
Yeah,
I wasn't built to work for somebody else, man.
Yeah.
It's just not my thing. I've had a problem with authority my whole life, so I have to be the authority.
I've met a lot of roofers like that. I don't know.
That's good.
But we got our guys, they probably all have a problem with authority too, but they're great, man. They really care about our customers, and they're really like family to us, and we try to maintain a family atmosphere over here. And everybody pitches in to help each other out where they can, and that's important to us.
Awesome. Well, that's good stuff, man. A lot of hard work, a lot of things that make you guys unique and different in the industry, make you guys not just different, but stand out. You could be different and be bad, I guess, but there's a lot of stuff there that makes you guys kind of a premier.
Well, one thing that makes us different from a lot of other roofing companies is that if we sell you the job, we're not only selling you the job like some other roofing companies. The person that sells you the job is also managing the project. So you're not having to call, so-and-so to get a hold of so-and-so, and because you have an issue with your roof. I mean, if I sold you the job, I'm in charge of that, and that's, I don't know, that's just something that sets, Deluxe Roof and, apart from a lot of other roofing companies.
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of companies out there will actually, one person will sell you the job and take it from the first time that they meet you, from the inspection to the, meeting the insurance adjuster, and then getting you under contract. And then at that point, it gets handed off to a separate project manager. And I don't think that that's right, because we want our customers to feel comfortable working with us. And the person that they felt comfortable working with was the person that sold them the job. So, and was there from day one. So it's important for us, for that person to manage the project all the way through, to make sure that we meet that customer's expectations and exceed that customer's expectations, from start to finish.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
That's good stuff. Well, I'm gonna move to the part of the show where we do some tips, a tip for the week for your business, and a tool I think you guys should try. Then we'll wrap up with some motivational stuff. The tip I came up with today is part of a process that I was examining, and this one says make a top 5 list. Right? So make a list of 5 things that you will do every day. 5 things you will do without fail, not skipping a single day. 5 things that will make you a better person or a better business owner or a better athlete or whatever it is you want to be. 5 things every day. You don't skip it. You don't put it off. You just do it. 5 things you have to do. Journaling or working out or writing a blog or doing a video or posting an update. And that might sound daunting to have 5 things you have to do every day. But if you think about it, you're already doing a ton of things every day that do nothing for you. Like there's some app on your phone that is a game that you play every day. Everybody has one. Mine's Candy Crush right now. There's Snack Time. There's Netflix. There's Facebook. Whatever it is you do, you're doing it every day. You just have to focus on the thing that's going to make you better. Whether that's I'm going to make sure I write a blog for my business every day, or I'm going to do a video every day. And then after a while, you don't even think about skipping it. It's a habit. There was something I used to do, and I stopped it because I stopped that process, but I used to write down specifically things that were positive for the day. At the end of the day, every day, if I forgot to do it, I was getting in bed, I got out of bed, I would get my pen and paper, write down things that were positive, that you were thankful for, that you appreciated about the day, every day. And then I would go to sleep every night with a great mindset about the situations and how things were and what was happening. Instead of going to bed dwelling about problems, I was thinking about all the good stuff. And it just became habit. You just did not skip it, because you couldn't go to sleep without doing it because you didn't get it checked off your list. So make a top 5 list and get those things done every single day. And my tool for the week is called Inigo. It's a digital business card app. It's free unless you want to do a professional version. But it's INIGO app.com. And what it does is you create a digital business card you can share. So you go networking and you're like, crap, I just gave that guy my last business card. Or you want a business card you can email or text to somebody. This is a great solution for that. So get a digital business card. It's free. If you're starting a business or starting a new position and you don't have business cards yet, you can do this. You have no excuse. And it's also a great way to get someone's someone's number, to text them when you're networking. Hey, give me your number and I will send you my card. And then you've already got that contact in your phone for follow-ups and stuff. So that's my tip for the week and my tool for the week. So go try them out. If you're listening to the podcast, there will be a link in the notes to the tool there. So we'll do a couple more quotes We can discuss them. If anybody has anything, if you don't have anything, no big deal. And then I'll wrap it up with some mumbo jumbo about how awesome hard work is. So, first, Frank Lloyd Wright, who is an architect and a writer, said, "I know the price of success. It's dedication, hard work, and an unremitting devotion to things you want to see happen." I love quotes like that talk about you have to have a constant or a vigorous, like a hunger for success. I think that is key. You can want success and still work hard, but if you're just if you don't want it, if you don't it just doesn't eat at you that you need the success, it's really hard to push past because it's hard. Success is hard to come by. Stephen King, I don't agree with his politics, but I like his books. Stephen King said, "Talent is cheaper than table salt. What separates the talented individual from the successful one is hard work." And that is key. There is a ton of kids, especially in younger ages, right? If you're really talented at sports, you're going to do well in middle school and high school sports. If you're talented but have no work ethic, by the time you get to the college level, you're going to be surpassed by those guys that are willing to work hard for it. So my kids are in band, and Patrick's been in sports, and he's been in wrestling. And I've been telling him, I'm like, listen, you're missing the last 2 weeks of school. So add that to the last 2 months of school, add that to the 3 months of summer. And when you go back to school, you have an amazing opportunity to be light years ahead of the people you're going to compete with. If you work on your drills and you work on your strength training and conditioning and you work on your playing your instrument and learning music, all these kids are going to be, they haven't been doing it as much now. They're certainly not going to do as much over the summer. But if you maintain that work ethic and that hard work and that consistency and you go after it, this is such a great opportunity for people, for students and businesses alike. I mean, if you keep at it while everybody else is using this pandemic as an excuse to chill out and social distance from their work, you're going to be way better for it. So that's what separates talent. I mean, you can be a talented salesman, but if you hear no and you start giving up, then you're not putting in the hard work that's going to beat the talented guy. So I would rather be hardworking than talented every day. Luckily, I'm both. So
here's a quote from my mother.
Okay.
From my mama. There's no shortcut to success.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm sure it was said by many other people, but my mama used to say it all the time growing up. And
yeah.
I've never forgot that one.
She instilled that in you, man, at an early age.
Did.
That's
She
good.
did.
You know, it makes me think of, I was talking about basketball earlier, right? Why is it that they spend countless hours practicing free throws? They spend those countless hours doing that simple task until it becomes second nature.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how repetition. So those 5 tasks that you do, Matt, that you mentioned, you do those until they become second nature.
Well, and the thing about practice and use of the free throw, for example, you do that so you get all the misses out of the way. I'll miss all day long practicing, but then when I get to the game, I'm making them because I got all my misses out of the way.
Get them all out of the way, man.
You're going to miss a whole lot more before you sink 10 in a row, right? So.
Well, Bobby, since you seem to like basketball so much, when we open back up our office for networking events, you can come get in on the 100-point $100 challenge.
Oh, I'm in, baby.
We have a basketball game in our event space in our office, and it's an ongoing thing. If you can score 100 points, I'll give you a $100 bill.
Wow.
Oh, baby.
There's only been 2 people that have done it. One of them is one of our guys that works for us who's done it a couple times.
Nice.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
All right.
Bobby's a beast. Bobby's a beast. He'll just be like, he'll flex and everybody will run away first and then he'll do it. His arms make me jealous.
Hey man, I think the highest I've gotten was like 64. So I'm never going to hit it. That's why I'm like, if whoever can do this, 100 points, I will give you a $100 bill. And
nice.
It's ongoing. Every networking event we do.
I like it.
Your charity event.
I like it.
It's ongoing.
That's awesome.
I like it.
Let's see. I'm going to come out there and watch him do that. But actually, because y'all have been doing a networking thing on the regular, and then I missed the one I was going to go to because we had something at church or something, it was like Ash Wednesday, and then I was like, oh, we got to be at church, and then COVID hit, so I'm like, dang it, still haven't been over there.
We had 3 large events scheduled for the week that the chamber shut down. We had a crawfish boil that we were planning on about 100 people being there. Then that was on a Saturday. Then later in the week we had a big charity event, our monthly charity event, and then we also had the HEB Chamber Unplugged that we were supposed to host that week, and everything got shut down. Luckily, before I ordered 150 to 200 pounds of crawfish.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. I've had so many clients, DJ clients, who've canceled stuff because, venues are like, you can't have an event here. You're not allowed to. And so many people, there's vendors out there that are refusing to reschedule people and be like, no, you can't have your deposit back. And I just feel so bad for these people because there's people out there not standing up, and because people can't control it. It's not like they're canceling on purpose because they want to change the date. People need to have a little more, I'm fixing to get on a soapbox again, but people need to have a little more empathy and understanding and care about people. That kind of stuff is crazy. So,
yeah, I mean, we understand everybody's going through hardship, and that's one reason, like I said, we're doing that financing thing. But, we just ask, our customers, look, if you're having some difficulties with something, let us know and we can work together, because this was dumped on everybody. We understand, we've had a couple people that have used some of the insurance company money to kind of get by, and that's fine. We can work something out, but I don't want everybody coming out and doing that, because at the same time, when they're doing that, they're also taking money out of my project manager's pockets,
Sure.
my sales guys' pockets, because they get paid on us collecting.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I know it's been really difficult. We've been doing a bunch of stuff to help out. I don't know if you guys have seen what we've been doing with some of the local restaurants.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's
all.
But tell everybody else.
It's worked out good. It's worked out good for them. They've, the way that we've been doing it, we've been giving them $1,000, but it's been generating, an additional, $1,500 to $2,000 on average on top of the $1,000 that we give them. So, and that's the whole point behind it. And I'm thankful to say that yesterday I spoke to the owner of Back 40 Smokehouse across the street from our office and said, how are things going? He said, man, since we did that, business has picked up. We're actually doing okay.
That's awesome.
So I'm just thankful that what we've done is actually working, and hopefully these people make it through.
I've seen you doing it on Facebook, but tell the listeners, the people who maybe haven't seen that, what you guys are doing with that $1,000 in those restaurants.
So what we've been doing is we've been choosing a local restaurant each week, and giving them $1,000 to help drive business, help motivate people to call in. So what we've been doing is we've done it a couple different ways, but the way that seems to work best, we gave them $1,000 to cover the first 67 orders, $15. Let me start. Okay. We gave them $1,000, the first 67 people to call in and mention Deluxe Roofing and Construction and place an order of $20 or more. We would cover $15 of that order. And like with Back 40, their average order was coming in at, I think, $35. So it was motivating people to call in. We're covering half their order, so they're saving money to feed their family, but then they're also, generating business and revenues for the restaurants. I don't want these. It'll break my heart if I drive down the street when this is all over and the restaurants that I've loved for so many years that are owned by great local, neighbors of ours are shut down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Restaurants are not just restaurants don't just service food. I mean, you guys are part of the networking group, so you understand. I mean, they're restaurants and taverns and bars. They're part of our social fabric. Where's everybody going to network after this is all over if there's no restaurants left?
Exactly.
They can come to our event
we have
space.
Our warehouse.
Yeah, they can come
we have a pool table. We have a dart.
Yeah. That's where restaurants and bars and grills and stuff like that, that's where people, a lot of small businesses and small business owners get together, and you generate ideas, and you build community, and you build relationships. And
exactly.
We've had networking groups all over the different place, and there's a wing place up the road from me, Wicked Wing Pub, that we go to all the time and support because they're a local owned business. And that's where me and my networking and business friends get together. That's where we go. When I had the TV interview on Biz TV, that's where we went and had my watching party. You're not going to call Chili's, and Chili's isn't going to let you have a watching party for your TV interview at their restaurant. A local business that supports the community and buys the little thing from the school to support the football team and all that kind of stuff. And just like
we're not trying to help out Applebee's or Chili's. They can fend for themselves. We want to help out the little guys, the mom and pop shops that that everybody loves, and they're our neighbors. They're our friends, our family, our neighbors that work there and that own these places and work there, and those are the people that we want to help out. And, I'm hoping I've seen some other things that some people are doing that's kind of similar. So I'm hoping it's going to catch on. Hell, I'm hoping this all just opens back up here pretty quick.
I think we're getting close.
Back to business.
Once we get done, we'll go see what Abbott had to say. But we could be open right now. We don't even know it because we're just on here dropping bombs. So, I got two more quotes for you guys. Number one, Mark Cuban. Everybody knows who Mark Cuban is. It's not about money or connection. It's the willingness to outwork and outlearn everyone. And we've been talking about working hard, but learning is a big part of that. And if you're willing to learn something new and kind of change your view of something, you can outlearn your competitors as well. I mean, everything changes so fast these days with technology. The way you do Facebook Live just changed 2 weeks ago, and my buddy's like, I'm not doing Facebook Live anymore. I'm like, well, okay, I will, though, and I'm going to succeed. But Mark Cuban's a smart guy. I mean, it's funny to hear him say that because he has a lot of money and he has a lot of connections. But, you got to take the wisdom from these people when you might not think they don't know what it's like to be a smaller business. Well, they started somewhere. And finally, before I wrap things up, Henry Ford, everybody knows who Henry Ford is. Chop your own wood and it will warm you twice. That is a great quote.
Yes.
Because hard work doesn't just get you to success. Hard work is also its own reward. There's a sense of pride in work completed. So, imagine cleaning out your garage. It's quite a daunting task. Like if you're like me and everything's just shoved in there sometimes. It's hard. Usually takes a while. But when it's done, you stand there smiling, hands on your hips, beer in your hand, looking, you're like, man, my garage looks freaking awesome. Or like yard work, you go and you mow your lawn and you weed eat and you're like, it's hot out here. It was a lot of work. But, man, look at those edges. Look just gorgeous. My lawn, way better than my neighbor's lawn. So the hard work is also its own reward. So let's see here.
It's funny you said that because I've got to go outside and clean some stuff out of my garage so I can get my 1930 Ford out of the garage.
Nice.
That's funny.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
Dirty garage became an opportunity.
Yeah, it did. If you want to reach your defined level of success or build something worth building, then you have to work hard. You have to work like you're trying to climb out of a bottomless pit, like it's life or death. Overnight success is a myth. When you see someone who suddenly, out of nowhere, is successful, then you just didn't see all the hard work that happened in the dark, on the weekends, late at night. Success just doesn't happen without hard work. You have to work hard regardless of how difficult or how long it will take. You have to wake up every day with a dedication to do whatever it takes to keep moving forward. Hard work is also about focus and mindset. If you're constantly focused on what could go wrong or the possibility of failure, then hard work will never feel worth it. But if you have a laser focus on your success, if you know that you will get there, if you know that you're going to kill it, then you'll know that hard work is just part of the journey. It's worth it. It changes who you are. Just like a race car driver goes where their eyes go, you will go where your focus is. You will go where your thoughts go. You will become the future that you imagine. If you obsess over the success you imagine in your future, let failure, if it comes, be a complete surprise to you. Just expect that you're going to succeed. Failure should always be a complete surprise. We all come from the same place. We're all born helpless with no skills, no strength, just lumps of flesh that can't even hold their own head up. So anyone who's achieved any level of success has just worked harder than everyone else. You don't have any excuses for not being where you want to be. You just didn't work hard enough yet. Ignore the weakness in your head that begs you to stop when it gets hard. That weak voice that tells you to relax, stop risking failure or ridicule. But if you do that, you'll also give up risking success. Your mind cannot even reason and understand how far you can go. So once your mind tells you it's too hard, you can't go any further, you can just smile and know that you can go further. And now you're in the success zone where champions are made. There was a Navy SEAL who did a study, and there's a certain percentage or distance or whatever it is, once your mind tells you and your muscles tell you, like, you cannot go any further, there is an absolute further distance you can go. It's built into you. If you're alive on this planet, you have not reached your full potential yet. There is more you can do. There's always more you can see. You can be more, and there are limits you have not pushed yet. You can do anything you want without limitation, and you can achieve anything. You just have to be prepared to break yourself and do an inhuman amount of work. Find your absolute limit and then go further. What are you willing to do for the chance to do amazing and life-changing things? That's the question you need to consider. Someone out there is going to do it, even if that's not you. Someone's going to do what it takes. Someone is going to outwork everyone else, even if that has to be you also. And someone is going to be the next person to achieve limitless success. So why can't that be you or your business or your partners? So that's what I have for you today. And I hope everybody goes out there and destroy the limits that society and yourself has put on you. So there's no reason to limit your success. You can do way more than you even comprehend you can. Just step out there, climb out of the bottomless pit, and make it all happen. So Chad and Josh, thank you guys so much for sharing Deluxe Roofing with us and your story and chatting with us today. I appreciate you guys so much. Where can people find you guys online?
You can find us online on Facebook, Deluxe Roofing and Construction. You can also find us online at deluxeroofingdfw.com.
Perfect. Okay. Hey, Bobby, great show as always, man. You're spectacular. And we'll see you here next week. So thank you, everybody else, for joining us on Inspired to Greatness. Please check back each week for fresh tips and new guests. Visit our website at itgpodcast.com. And look for us on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeart, and Spotify. If you would like to be a guest on the show, please visit itgpodcast.com/beourguest. If you have a question or a topic suggestion, you can email the show at inspiredtogreatnesspodcast@gmail.com. And you can find the show on Facebook at Inspired Podcast, on Instagram at Inspired to Greatness Podcast. And remember, all those links are on our website at itgpodcast.com. So thanks again, my friends. Go do amazing things. Be awesome. Go inspire, motivate, and dominate. All right. That is the end of the broadcast. Thanks, Facebook.